What's up guys, Charlie here. Welcome back to Conquering Kerbal Space Program. I'm making some changes to our craft because I've decided that I want a lot of thrust. I decided I don't want to deal with like 5-minute burns and 6-minute burns. I've changed all these tanks to be liquid fuel and oxidizer, and I've come to the conclusion that I have enough fuel to do like pretty much everything I want to do. I don't need a nuke. So we're gonna take, I think the mainsail sounds like a cool idea. I'm gonna take the mainsail, put it there. That's gonna give us 3208. That's like way more than enough, like that's fine. So I'm gonna take this decoupler, stick it back over here, and there we go. Now to get us into orbit, I have this Maverick V here, which is gonna help us get into orbit, but honestly, I'm thinking at this point, we don't even need that. Like, let's just put a mainsail on both of these things. The Maverick V costs 12,500, and the mainsail costs 13,000. But the mainsail has 100 kilonewtons more thrust. Is that what it is? 100 kilonewtons? Yeah, 100 kilonewtons more thrust, which is good. Or I could put a twin bore on the bottom, like I've got here. I could put one of these twin bores on the bottom. That makes it a little bit longer. Definitely makes it longer, but it's got 2,000 kilonewtons of thrust and much more delta V. Kind of looks a little silly sticking out the bottom, but nah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna stick to the mainsail here and put the mainsail there, and that's it. So we're gonna have rockets. We're not gonna do any nuclear engines for this, and I'm pretty sure we have enough. I'm confident we have enough delta V to do that. Yeah, we should. I just need to make sure my stages are right though, because right now it's not showing me that I have enough that I want. So, I mean, I guess technically we have enough with these stats, but it's not accurate. So, I've made numerous changes, and I kind of recorded some of these, so I don't know what I've shared with you already because I'm recording this directly after recording the last video. And I had a whole bunch of different takes. I had a whole bunch of different, I guess, attempts and trials and kind of playing around with things during that video. So I'm not sure what I've showed you and what I haven't shown you, but I basically have these tanks to help raise up our center of mass so that this thing will be stable. And then when we get to about 15K or so, I can actually decouple these. Make sure these are all drained first. We'll have the engine start using them, and then we can just get rid of them. I've got parachutes on them, so the stages will be saved. Parachutes on all these, the stages will be saved. And actually, I'm thinking now that this stage here is probably not gonna make it to orbit. So I probably should put some parachutes on this stage as well, because we can save all this stuff. And saving stuff is great. So let's just put parachute there. Probably one more. I'm not really concerned about symmetry and having it look good. I just want the parachutes on it. Let's check stage recovery. Looking good. Everything's green. Everything's green. Look at that. Oh yeah. The whole thing is ready to rock with parachutes. Okay, so basically, yeah, that's what's gonna happen with these, and they're gonna raise the center of mass while we're in the lower atmosphere. Then we'll burn these off, get rid of them because they're dead weight, and then we'll have a little bit more delta V for this part here then. What else? Yeah, we're fully on rockets, and that's it. And that is pretty much, oh, actually, you know what? This tank here is only liquid fuel, so let's see if I can change this to liquid fuel and oxidizer. I cannot change that. So now I'm kind of thinking I want a different tank here. Okay, I think I figured it out. My staging was messed up, so like I had to get my staging sorted first. And then now it's weird that like this big tank, it's so much heavier than the one that was there before. But for whatever reason, that's the one that's gonna work. So torque is manageable. Everything looks good here. So let's go to the launch pad because the VAB is getting really, really buggy and crashy on me right now. So like I've already restarted. Just figuring this out, I've had to reboot the game. So yeah, let's just get this thing to the launch pad, I think. We have plenty of Delta V to do what we want to do. Everything's fine. Let's make sure no Kerbals are in this. Of course there are. There are always Kerbals being placed in where I don't want them to be. I think we're ready to go, guys. I think we're ready to launch. Let's make sure one final save here. 573,000. Yep, we're good. Let's go ahead and launch. Okay, we're on the launch pad. Now I don't have to deal with like the VAB memory leaks and stuff that's happening here. My game is currently using 10 gigabytes of RAM, and that's I just booted it up. So yeah, there's definitely a memory leak happening there. I want to get these tanks. These tanks need to be shut off so that we're not using them. There we go. And if you're wondering how I have Kerbal Engineer and stuff like that, and MechJeb also, I've stuffed the units, I've hidden them within these things, so you can't see them. You can kind of see it. If you look really closely up here at the top, you'll see the little green light sort of illuminating from in there. So it's kind of hidden away. So I think that's pretty much everything. Let's turn the lights on because that sounds like a good idea to me. SAS on, that sounds like a great idea. Thrusters all the way up, that's the perfect idea. We have a terrible thrust to weight ratio, so this is not going to happen quickly, but I'm confident it will get to orbit. So yeah, here we go. Let me make sure this stage is right, because this stage is supposed to be that one. Good. Here we go. Yep. I said it. It's a terrible thrust to weight ratio, I told you. But I didn't want to put any boosters on this and add to the cost if I could help it. And honestly, I don't think we need it. I just don't believe we need anything more than we have now. So that's why it's like this. These are good. Good. These are probably being drained already. Yep, they're already gone. These here, yep, being drained right now. Yep. Okay. So now we're just left with these two big tanks, which are going to be full of fuel until we get to probably around, I don't know, maybe 15K or so. Kind of get out of the thickest part of the atmosphere that we're going to be affected by. Getting ourselves over. Look at FAR. FAR's telling us that our flight is nominal. Good. Everything seems to be going to plan. Let's go ahead and activate these tanks now. There we go. So gas will start, our fuel will start being pulled out of these tanks now. And when they're empty, when this one's empty, we'll go ahead and jettison and get these tanks out of here so that the weight's gone. And we'll recover these tanks. We'll recover this stage too. Looking all right. Still have kind of a wobble, but it's okay. It's not going to break apart, so it might be a tad bit of a waste in terms of you know, our Delta V. It's also influencing some attitude as well. It's kind of pulling me certain directions based on how the wind's hitting me as I'm flexing. I don't have the rotation of an arrow as it comes off a bow, so it's kind of messing with me. Okay, those tanks are empty. Let's get rid of them. Off we go. That should help a lot with the flexing because this is a lot of extra weight on the top, so that should help a bit with that. It's not going to fix it, but it'll help. Let's get ourselves some acceleration. Let's rock. Come on. And I just need to burn off the rest of this fuel, so that's where we'll end up being, right there. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna kill the thrust. We'll jettison this stage. Get rid of those engines, and those will deorbit themselves, which will be great. And now we're left to float to about 95 or so, which is good. So I have got MechJeb killing rotation, so it stays pointed right like this. Let's check out our orbit here. We're going to have to correct our inclination, but we'll have enough delta V to do that, so I'm not really concerned. Let's go ahead and circularize that. In order to do that, we'll need 975. Perfect. We have 760 in this stage. So that is going to work out wonderfully. So as soon as we're in space, I'll go ahead and have this thing point us towards the node. Where's the parachutes? Oh, there they are. This stage will expire about, I don't know, what is it? We have 590 left, 80, so it's going to be like 250. We'll spend 250 in the final stage to circularize our orbit, and then we'll correct our inclination, which will probably take another 100 or so, and then we'll get off to Duna, and everything will be fine. At least it should be. As long as we don't lose connection with it. We don't have a big antenna on this. This is meant to use the satellites that will already be near Duna to do everything. It's meant to use those, so. But I'm still gonna have a maneuver node planned for it, and if I can, I'll have it scheduled in the flight computer so I won't have to necessarily worry about that. If possible, I'll do that. Okay, here we go. And let's get rid of that stage and fire the mainsail. There we go. Bye-bye. Deorbit yourself. And no space junk. See? All the critics. All the critics in the comments. There you go. No space junk. But the critics will still tease me about my orbit because, well, I'm not completely circular. So, that happened, I know. And we are in orbit, which is awesome. So let's get rid of that. We are in orbit. We have 2533 remaining, which is wonderful. Now, if I'm rotating like this, I might actually end up hitting the atmosphere, but I don't really care. MechJeb will hopefully get us turned the right direction eventually. I say this, but like, I don't know what it's doing right now. It's going the opposite of what I want. So, you know. Let's check out the orbit here really quick and make sure our inclination isn't too bad. It's actually fairly good. You know, I don't think we need any inclination change. This is going to be fine. So now we just need to set up the maneuver for Duna. This is going to let me get 182. Of course, I can't burn with that much precision most likely, but we can give it a try. And then adjust from there. Let's put that into the flight computer. Tell it to execute that. That's in 27 minutes. I did need to go a couple of I needed to go one rotation around Kerbin in order to do that. So now the problem with getting the flight computer to point where it's supposed to, and it is going to work, but it's extremely slow, and that's because the only reaction wheels that's on the final stage are this little one right here, and this little one. Ooh, okay, flight computer, get out of my way, and this little one that's kind of nestled in underneath here, right there. Those are the only two reaction wheels on this whole thing. We don't have a command, even if we had a command module from K&K, we still wouldn't have a reaction wheel in there. So that's what we're dealing with as far as reaction control. And the good thing is the node was pretty close to where we were already pointing, so that's pretty cool. Flight computer will keep this thing pointed towards the node, which is good. So 1052.9 meters per second. Very cool. Very good transfer to Duna. As long as it can actually burn as it's supposed to. All right, so here we are about 40 or so seconds away from the maneuver. I'm gonna let this thing kind of get itself in position. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time than usual because of how weak the reaction wheels are. And I'm also going to kick on RCS so that it can control it that way as well. Look at Sarnus, just glowing out in space. A little flickering of Sarnus, that's cool. We're gonna go there for sure. There's Erlem, and this tiny one over here, that's Needon. Needon? I think it's Needon. It's supposed to be the Neptune proxy. Or, I don't know if it's really called a proxy. I don't know what the correct terminology is right now. Looks like there's some debris right there too. That's pretty close to us though, it's just really small. It's probably a stack separator or something. Okay, well, here we go. A 104 second burn. Hopefully the flight computer doesn't screw this up. Let's cross our fingers. Here we go. Now we've got the engine gimbal and RCS is on. So it should, flight computer should have no problems keeping itself on course here. Because I've got a bunch of these, I've got a bunch of RCS jets. It doesn't look like it's using them though. So it looks like the gimbal and the engine's enough. No, it is using them a little bit. You can kind of see we're using some of it right there, monopropellant. Using a very small amount, but it's keeping it on course and that's good. That's what we need. So I guess we'll, I'll come on back when the burn is finished. Okay, so we can see the burn. This is really strange. I'm not sure how I feel about this, actually. But notice the amount of delta V we have. Like, how in the hell did that happen? Like, how did that happen? How do we only have 119 left? We had so much left before. We had so much delta V before. How do we have only that much left? All of these tanks are basically empty. What? I don't understand. What? I don't. Okay, well I can enable crossfeed on this, and then I'll be able to access the fuel that's in this, which is good. But I mean, like, where? You guys, what? I don't understand this. How did that happen? How did that happen? We had so much more delta V than that maneuver. How did it waste like? Did it waste like 900 during the burn? Like, we just blew through all of our fuel for no reason. I'm really lost on that. We had, flight engineer told me we had so much. Kerbal engineer told me we had so much more than that. And now I'm in real big trouble. Because, I'm in really big trouble. And look, like, maneuvers here, but we didn't even get to it. We gotta do this here. So, is it burning? I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm really lost, guys. Now our trajectory is gonna have to come right into the atmosphere. So I'm gonna go in like 32K, if I can, because, I mean, like, we don't have nearly enough fuel to do what I wanted to do now. I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. I'm gonna have to look at the footage, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. All right. I can enable crossfeed. At least I can enable crossfeed on that. All right, so let's just go ahead and we're gonna do a really small burn. So let's do it nice and carefully. Bring it in. Take our time with it. No rush. We're just gonna burn radially really quick here and just kind of get this thing to come in. Stop. Really nice and neat. Wow, now this thing is moving in. Oh, of course it is. Oh, come on. Like, you gotta give me a break of some kind here, guys. This is silly. I don't know how far this thing's gonna move in. There's no way to know, really. If I time accelerate and I get out of range, then I won't be able to influence it. So, I think what I should probably do... Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Because of how pathetic and crappy this is. Let's get rid of the maneuver. We're gonna end up being on a trajectory that's... Oh, where is it? Where's our trajectory? It's not even gonna show me? No, it's gotta be this line right here, right? It's gotta be this yellow line right here. So let's put a maneuver like here, 14 days from now. We're just gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna tell it to face the node and execute the next maneuver. So in 14 days, it will execute whatever this maneuver is. And then I can adjust this maneuver after the fact, and it will still do it. So we'll limit it down to like 1. Not even that, really. I mean, honestly, this maneuver should be executed with RCS. I mean, it's so incredibly small that it should be executed with RCS. So now I'm thinking, like, I don't even know what I want to do here. Where's my orbit now? It's now at 39, and it's just still moving in. Like, what am I supposed to do with that, guys? How do I, like, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know how I fight against that. I really don't. Let's get myself pointed at radial here. I'll make all these burns with RCS until I lose signal, which is probably in any minute now. We're gonna lose a signal. Still moving in. I mean, if it stops right here, I'm okay with it, because like that's a good aero brake. But it's not gonna stop there. It's gonna keep freaking going. So let's burn with RCS really quick. And we're just gonna bump this up, because I really don't know. Like, maybe here? Like, how far is this gonna go? How far inward does this go? I'm gonna bump it up to 85, and then time accelerate a little bit. It looks like time acceleration will actually stop the progression, which is really, really weird. I just don't, because I do want to aero brake. I do want it in the atmosphere, but I don't want it too far in the atmosphere. I don't know. It's gonna burn a maneuver, whatever I tell it to. So I guess we'll time accelerate. Honestly, I probably can't even. Oh, now it's going the other way? Nope, now it doesn't know what it wants to do. Now it's going the other way, guys. Oh. Alright, well, we might have to live dangerously with this thing. And the thing is like, I'd love to just time accelerate to see where this is gonna be, but if I time accelerate, it actually stops moving, which you'd think would be good to work that for my advantage. But I mean, once I lose signal with this thing, I can't do anything. What's going on here? It's like, okay. Yeah. All sorts of wonderful things happening with this file, guys. Oh, man. All right, we've done some time acceleration. I'm about to lose signal. At least I think I will. I don't know why I haven't yet. It says my altitude is 4 million. Maybe I'm going by... maybe I'm going by the moon or something right now. I don't know. But it looks like the decay on this orbit, it looks like it's stopped at 46,000. So, I mean, that's good. I'm okay with that. Definitely okay with that. Yeah. This happens in 226 days. So it's right in the middle of everything else. And we have a maneuver here. When it entered the sphere of influence, we have a maneuver here that's going to allow us to make a last minute change if we need to. And the craft is already programmed to execute whatever this maneuver is. So I think before I lose connection here, I'm gonna limit the thrust on this to like nothing, just so it's less likely to overshoot whatever that maneuver ends up being. And then we're just gonna kind of go from here. So yeah, I don't know what happened to our fuel situation. That's kind of got me a little bit upset, to be honest. Like 800 meters per second just sort of vanished. I'm losing my mind, guys. I'm really losing my mind here. I don't know. I don't know. Let's do something fun. I do want to watch this thing, though, until I lose signal. Which I'm impressed that I haven't lost signal yet, because I'm really far away from Kerbin. So let's time accelerate this. I should lose signal like any second now. There's no reason for me to have a signal right now. Unless I'm going by the moon, which I am going by the moon. So maybe I'm actually picking up the signal from these moon satellites, I bet. I bet that's what this is. The moon network is keeping me connected. No, I lost signal, so that couldn't be it. I don't know. I'm back. I got signal again. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make any changes at all. I'm going to leave it right here at 46.2. Well, there's 3 of them here, and I don't know which one to follow, but I'm going to go with that. So let's time accelerate. Should lose signal, like, already. There we go. We are now without a signal, so there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to this. But, flight computer already has, again, it has execute this maneuver in the process. So if I adjust this maneuver, if I make an adjustment to this maneuver, the craft will still do it. So that's how I'm going to get around that problem. Let's go to the Space Center, I guess. All right, back at the Space Center. I was going to actually start another launch and get something cool started, but I'm noticing that Kerbal Alarm Clock says that we have a probe maneuver, in 5 days. So, I mean, we could just do the launch and then be ready for it, or I can time accelerate and get it out of the way, that doesn't bother me at all. So, and then I can probably launch at daytime at that point too. So, and we'll have more science generation because our science labs are producing science per day. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's just time accelerate until this alarm right here. The Kerbals will get a break, get to do and just kind of sit around for a couple of days. So this is the specialty launch. Need to go to specialty launch. Okay, here we are. This craft has been told already to execute this maneuver in 1 minute and 54 seconds. We have no connection, so there's nothing we can do to the craft, but we can influence the maneuver. That's something we can do. So let's actually focus on Duna, okay? And this maneuver, if executed properly, will take this right here to 62. Do we want it to be in 62 or do we want it to be closer? I'm gonna go with 62 just because I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have enough. Yeah, we have more than enough delta V to correct anything later. So yeah, 62 is fine. If it's barely in the atmosphere, I won't care. And that'll be that. So really, that's it. We just need to have this thing perform its maneuver. Now, can I mess with the thrust on this? Okay, thrust is already limited to 0.5. We should have great precision here then. This is already limited to basically nothing. It's actually an 88 second burn. 14.2 meters per second is an 88 second burn. But for whatever reason, this is not burning right now. The signal delay, it's got it burning in 40 seconds from now. Better burn time says I should be burning right this moment. So once again, flight computer, not doing what it's supposed to do. There's nothing I can do about it. So I guess we just have to watch the failure and hope that that failure does not lead us to, you know, crash into Duna. I think I told this thing to execute the maneuver before I adjusted the thrust. I think that's what happened here, which is why it's gonna wait until the last possible minute to do 14 meters per second. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So note to self, this button is the last button you click. Make sure that note to self there. Doing a periapsis, let's bring it in. As long as this periapsis ends within 2.5 million meters, which it already is, then we're golden. That's all I need it to do. I just need it to end like that. Oh, but it looks like we might overshoot. I'm worried about an overshoot. Please don't overshoot. It's gonna be close. Can we do precision? Can we see it? Is it golden? Are we good? Oh, yeah, look at that. It's not exact. We're not 62, we're 55. But, I mean, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, for sure. Especially if I can get the solar panels retracted in time so that they don't, blow up or anything. But okay, back to the space station. I'm gonna go into the VAB because we're gonna start something cool. And I know some of you guys are probably a little disappointed that we're not sending Kerbals to Duna this trip. I understand that frustration, or I understand that maybe that little bit of disappointment. But I don't want to disappoint you for the next few episodes just because we're not going straight to Duna. So we're gonna do something else pretty cool.